fairly strong wind, so I need a kite that can sort of handle that. I initially tried a quarter wave the other night, and that was working really quite nicely, so I thought I'd put up a half wave on 160 today. It's just on 81 metres of wire. It's fed probably about 5 to 10 metres below the actual kite joining point, and that comes down to a link couple tuner. And on the other side of the link couple tuner, I've got it's one of the grounds. That's where I was putting in the other ground. I've got about 100 metres of wire that I'm using as a counterpoise for that. Seems to be working all right. PEP-wise, I'm putting out probably about, I'm guessing something like about 50 to 60 watts, or maybe make that probably 20 to 30 watts AM, I would hope. PEP-wise, it's showing as about 85 to 90. So there you go. Anyway, thank you for welcoming me to the group there, Rob. It's good fun listening. Nice to hear the signals. Generally, I hear this net reasonably well, but my transmit signal is quite a bit down due to efficiency. BK3 DTR in the group. BK3YXC.
But it doesn't have to be grounded. You put your radio coax on the bottom end of the coil, the antenna on the top end, and then you tap up from the bottom with your interconductor of your coax to get the correct match, and you shouldn't need a ground system at all. So there we go. I don't know, I assume you know that one, but that's what I've got on my yacht. It's on 27 megs. It's just a little tiny coil inside a little tin with a Phillips trimmer on it, and a tap, 1.5 turns up from the bottom end or something like that. So you just have to scale it all up to 160 metres. And that's about it, I think. So I'll keep it moving. Over to you there, Kevin. VK3CKL with the group, VK3AGP.
Right, thanks there, Gus. VK3AGP, VK3CKL, and good morning now to Eric and Anthony.
I gather that's the way you guys are keeping things. In terms of Jack's site, on the kite rate, look, I've seen that site. Look, a good site. There's quite a few good sites actually on the web about different things. But I'm very interested in the fact that he imported a specific kite. I'd be very interested to know which one he imported. So there's a few different kites I've actually tried for lifting. The French military one I've got is probably, I said, the best for me, given I go from very light winds to quite strong winds. At the moment it's quite strong winds out there, probably at about 15 to 25 kilometres an hour I would guess. But I can normally launch this particular kite in anything from about a 2 or 3 kilometre wind. And once I get it up into the laminar airflow, it's pretty good. They last saw something like this, I think, back in the early 1400s when the Chinese astronomers first saw it. And that lasted 60 or 70 years, that particular solar minimum. In terms of helium balloons, there's a fellow in one of the other sites I've seen on the web, a fellow in the UK is using helium balloons, calls them aerostats, and that gives him both lift in no wind conditions as well as in fairly light wind conditions. When it gets a bit heavier, he puts up a kite. I'm lucky enough I've got a few acres out here, so I can actually set up the kite so that it's really just above my property, and I certainly don't fly it when it's the wind is in the direction of my power lines, which is to my north. So that's how I get away with that. Gus on the halfway, thank you for that. Look, I haven't tried that. I've got the wire coming back into a link couple tuner, so I just want to give it some sort of counterpoise per se. But when I go portable antenna using pretty much the setup you described, but I looked at, there's a site on the web by AA5 Tango Bravo, and he's got some very, very good information about halfways and just what he's found out in the field, and I'm using that as my reference source at the moment. Thank you as well for running the net this morning, and nice to say g'day to all stations. VK3 DTR, VK3YXC.
Quite a heavy QSV for some reason. Totally captured the signal. It's pretty slow. I also feels at this juncture, fellas. Once I'm back to the one in the middle of another thing. A VK3 Alpha Pro. Bit of
And just to comment to you, Anthony, yes, your signal, you're at 20 dB over 9, very, very strong now. Transmission working very, very well. Cheers all.